Hello guys, welcome to my iPhone 5 review. Now obviously the iPhone 5 came out today, so I went in store and while I didn't buy it, I did take a good look around, spent maybe 20-30 minutes talking to the staff, messing around with the iPhone 5 they had in store, and trying to gauge a decent perspective on it. So this is going to be my review of it, and I hopefully you guys will take it into consideration if you do decide to go and buy it. I think the first thing that strikes me is that the way they're trying to sell it is that it's lighter and that it's thinner than any other iPhone model. And I have to hand to them, they have done that well. I mean, I have an iPhone 4S, and holding one in each hand sort of thing, like this, and just holding and looking at them, definitely lighter, definitely thinner. I'm not gonna argue with them on that perspective. Now, one of the things is that it's got a larger screen. I think the iPhone 4S has a 3.5 inch screen compared to the 4 inch screen on the iPhone 5. Now, one of the things that's important is because it's the same width as the iPhone 4S, you can still do everything one-handed. And I had no problem doing that, even though it was slightly taller and the screen was a little bit bigger. I had no problem running my thumb to the top of it or to the bottom. I had no problem reaching any part of the screen, apart from the top corner perhaps. That's the only part that's a little bit awkward, but even then, so I think they've definitely done it well in that the screen is entirely reachable. No part of it can't be reached by someone with standard hands or bigger hands or whatever. You should be fine if you can use your iPhone 4 or 4S, you're going to be using your iPhone 5 fine. And I was talking to the staff, and that was kind of their main selling point, in that it was bigger, the screen was bigger. Their main selling point was that the screen was bigger, whilst the phone overall was lighter and thinner than previous models. Now, to be honest, I have an iPhone 4S. I've had numerous other phones. I've played around with ones. Weight is not that big a deal. I mean, to me, it's not. It's a phone. It goes in your pocket. That's it. Unless it's a brick, you're not really going to notice it that much. So to me, the whole it's lighter than the other models wasn't a particularly good swinging point for me. It worked. They've made it thinner and they made it lighter. They've done that well. But for me, and I think making it taller, I don't know. I mean, to me, I think the iPhone 4S is about the right sort of size for a phone. And I know a couple of people who have ridiculously sized phones. They're more like tablets than phones. And I don't know, to me that seems ridiculous. A phone should be easy to fit in your pocket. You don't have to carry it around, like a little iPad holder or whatever. Now, the next thing that occurred to me was the new Lightning adapter connector they have. I can't lie, I don't like it. And I say this because obviously they've been using the 30-pin adapter for forever. It's always been a 30-pin adapter, and to suddenly go and change it to this tiny little one, I don't think that's a good move. It's purely a marketing move for them. In that, I mean, I looked online earlier. Buying a new adapter, Lightning adapter or a converter, costs you anywhere from £15 to £30, and that's without post and packaging. So I think that's in dollars. I think in dollars that's about $20 to $60 or something like that. And obviously this is really expensive. I think the most expensive thing was about 30 British pounds. And I think that was the adapter. So basically you can fit, like say you got an iPod dock, you can get the adapter, you put the adapter on the dock, and then you put your iPhone 5 into the Lightning bit. To be honest, looking at it, I personally think they could have found a way to fit the old 30-pin adapter in there. That would have been better. I think it was purely a marketing thing, in that they now, if you have an iPod dock and you only use it for your iPhone, you'll have to go out and spend 30 quid on an adapter. Sorry, somebody had a car crash out there. So adapter-wise, no, I don't know if they're going to be using that for everything from now on. Like, any new iPod models that come out, or iPads, or anything, they'll probably use it for all future iPhones, to be completely honest. and you know, to be honest, that doesn't do it for me. I don't think that's a particularly decent thing to do in terms of marketing, because it's purely about money for them. And obviously, if say, as you used earlier, you have an iPod dock and you only use your iPhone in it, which I know a few people who do, you're now going to have to go out and spend 30 quid on an adapter. I mean, I'm hoping that we'll hopefully see somewhere like online shops or like Amazon UK or whatever, you start selling them for cheap. That would be useful. But I mean, on the Apple Store, which is where I checked, you know, it's going to be expensive. Now the A6 chip they've put in the iPhone 5 is supposed to be up to 2 times faster in various processors. I can't lie, I didn't particularly notice much of a difference. I mean, I was playing around with it, doing just standard stuff, and compared to the A5 chip in the iPhone 4S, I didn't particularly notice much in terms of difference. I mean, I'm sure there is in some applications, but in the ones I was using, the way I was messing around with it, I didn't particularly see anything that made me think, oh wow, this is insane. It wasn't like going from, you know, the first computer to a current modern day one. It wasn't like that. It wasn't a particularly noticeable difference. So I can't really comment on it. I assume it has made it better and that it does actually work, but you know, from I think in standard usage you won't particularly notice it that much. Now the camera is a bit of a disappointment, to be completely honest, and that's because obviously the rear facing camera is exactly the same as the one in the iPhone 4S, and the same with the front facing one. The front facing one is now in HD, if I'm correct on that. Which is okay. You know, the cameras I think are fine, to be honest. I mean, I'm currently using the front facing camera on my iPhone 4S to record this. And actually it's doing quite a good job, I think. You know, it's not a HD one, it's not the iPhone 5 one. I could use the rear facing one, but then I can view what I am doing, and this is the whole thing. With the front facing camera, it faces you, you have the screen there, you can see what you're doing. So the camera, sorry about that, the camera I don't particularly, you know, I was sort of expecting possibly at the most we would see 9 or 10 megapixels for the rear facing camera, and I think they possibly could have done that if they hadn't tried to make the iPhone 5 a thinner model. If they hadn't have done that, they might be able to do it. So camera wise, it's pretty much exactly the same as the iPhone 4S. So you know, I can't really say much about that, to be honest. I don't think it's particularly outstanding. So yeah, camera wise, nothing really much to talk about. You know, in my opinion, it's pretty much the same. Okay, so the older models, e.g. the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 4S, I checked online, and they are no longer stocking the larger size models in that in memory in terms of gigabyte. I think, you know, when I checked, they purely only had the smallest sizes. I think it's 16 gig and for the iPhone 4S, and the 8 gig model I think it was for the iPhone 4. Not overly sure, but basically they're only selling the smaller sized memory ones for the older models now, which, I don't know, makes sense marketing wise. Obviously, if you don't have to make all 3 variants, you don't have to make all the money. You know, to invest all the money into making them all, fair enough. But I don't know. I mean, personally, I would have preferred still the option, if I wanted to go buy an iPhone 4 or 4S, to have gotten them in any size that they were available originally. They might just be online. You may still be able to do it in stores. I don't know. But I think, from what I could see on this online, they are discontinuing the larger models, e.g. the 32 and 62 gigabyte models. They might be, they might not be. I can't particularly speak for that already, but from what I've seen, they are. So it's definitely worth going and checking. Now, when I reviewed, sorry, when I reviewed the iPhone 4S, I said if you already have an iPhone 4, it's not really worth taking the upgrade to 4S. And I kind of feel the same way in regards to the 4S to the iPhone 5. They're very similar in a lot of respects, and it wasn't any particularly revolutionary, it wasn't anything particularly amazing. I'll go back to that in a few minutes though and talk a bit more about that. So the Siri feature in the iPhone 4S has been updated a bit. Apparently now it does sports updates and things like that in the iPhone 5. To me, Siri, it's useful and it's impressive, but it's not that useful, to be completely honest. I mean, I very rarely use it on my iPhone 4S. I would probably very rarely use it when if I got the iPhone 5. So to be completely honest, no, updating Siri wasn't a big deal for me. It didn't seem particularly useful. So if you use Siri a lot, then yeah, obviously that's going to be quite a swinging factor for you. And I still think Siri is an impressive piece of technology in that, you get to talk to your phone. But, to be honest, out of everyone I know who has an iPhone 4S, no, not many people use Siri. Now the sound quality, they were trying to sell it, the sound quality is much better. And I played around a bit with the sound, and to be completely honest, to me, I didn't hear much in terms of a difference. I played a song on my 4S, and then I played the exact same song on the iPhone 5. To do that I went onto YouTube on both, found the same song, everything, played them, and no, I did not hear much of a particular difference. So sound quality wise, again, I think maybe for certain types of music, or or maybe it's just giving you a bigger range, I don't know, but when I was playing music I did not hear particularly much of a difference in quality. And the headphones, I think the headphones again are just a bit of a marketing ploy. Not particularly fantastic, to be honest. I mean, I prefer these in-ear headphones, always have, compared to your standard ones. I think it's great that Apple have finally added a variant, because obviously the ones they have, I have here, actually, in my iPhone 4S box. Now the ones they obviously standardly use, use as standard, are these ones. They just sort of sit in your ear, and that's it. Now compared to in-ear headphones, I don't particularly enjoy these ones. I've never really liked ones that just sort of sit in your ear. I prefer the ones that properly go in ear. So I think it's good that they've added a variant, but even quality-wise, I'm sorry, no. To be honest, they sounded to me the exact same as this set right here, which I think cost me £6 and 10p or something stupid on Amazon. So to be honest, I would say that they're great as having a spare, which is again what I use the ones I have my iPhone 4S for. If one of my headphones break, I'll use them as a spare. But quality-wise, no. I wasn't particularly impressed with that, and I think it's great they've added a variant. I think it's about time. I know it's something people have been asking for a long time. They've been asking for a variant on the standard headphones, but no, they're not that fantastic to me. So sound quality wise, again, no, I'm sorry, they didn't particularly do anything for me. So back to the point about the not worth the upgrade. When I initially did my review of the 4S, I sort of came to the conclusion that based on what I'd seen and played around with on the iPhone 4, it wasn't worth the upgrade from the 4 to the 4S, and I feel they've kind of fallen into that trap again in terms of the 4S upgrade to the iPhone 5. It's an impressive piece of technology, I liked it, but I've already got an iPhone 4S. It does everything I need to do. I don't feel the need to upgrade. Now obviously there are some people who are going to go and upgrade because it's brand new, it's shiny, it's supposed to be better, and that's how they're selling it. They're selling it as, it's the best thing to happen to the iPhone since the iPhone. And you know, to be honest, the iPhone 4S for me is decent. And this is one of the things. Before I brought my iPhone 4S, I was thinking, right, chances are we're going to see a new iPhone model come out in September, October time. And I was right. And I said, what are the odds it's going to be revolutionary? What are the odds they're actually going to add something new to it that I would kill for, sort of thing, you know? And I said, I think what they're probably going to do is maybe just make a bigger screen and maybe make it lighter and thinner. And that's pretty much exactly what they've done. So, to be honest, you know, I'm not overly impressed with the iPhone 5. I think there's a lot of stuff they could have done better. I mean, for starters, they could have kept the old 30-pin adapter. For me, that's a big thing. If you don't want to go spend £15 to £30 buying, you know, a replacement or an adapter, which you may very well have to do if you use your iPhone 5 in an iPod dock, you're going to need to buy the adapter. That's £30 without post and packaging. Straight away, you have to spend on top of the God knows how much you've already spent for your iPhone 5. So, yeah, you know, the other thing, I think camera-wise, to me, a camera upgrade would have been nice. That would have been a swinging factor for me. But I thought, what are the odds they're actually going to make it a camera vastly superior to the 4S one, and they haven't. So, you know, for me, again, this wasn't an important thing. And that was my whole sort of thing. I was saying, right, what are the odds that it's actually going to be revolutionary? What odds it's going to massively change? I didn't think it was very likely. I took a bet, and it hasn't been particularly fantastic, I don't think. I mean, I've managed to play around with it. Battery life, even. Battery life seemed a little bit improved, but obviously I didn't have it for a whole day. I didn't get to test it properly, but compared to the 4S, no, I'm sorry, it's pretty much the same from what I can see. A little bit better, but I didn't particularly notice any huge difference. Now obviously, at the moment, Apple's in the news quite a lot with the whole Samsung thing. I would say go Samsung on this one, to be honest. And that's because you get more models, the front-facing HD camera as well. And to be honest, a huge swing thing is that you can add a micro SD card into it and give yourself even more space, which you can't do on the iPhone models, that's an important factor for you. Obviously, you're going to want to go ahead and do that. Well, this video is hanging on now. It's about 20 minutes nearly. That's about 18. So I'm going to wrap it up now. You know, I think the iPhone 5. If perhaps you're on the iPhone 4, it's probably worth upgrading if you want. But to be honest, you know, I haven't noticed a whole lot of difference in the iPhone 5. It didn't particularly strike me as a fantastic piece of equipment that was going to change the way I felt about my iPhone 4S. I mean, I think maybe the next iPhone model might be a little bit more... Sorry. I think maybe the next iPhone model will be a little bit more revolutionary or contain some better stuff. But I've kind of got this feeling that that's what they might end going down this route, where they want to make it as thin as possible, as lightweight as possible, but give you a bigger screen as possible. And for me, I think the iPhone 4 is perfect. You can feel it in your hand. It's not particularly that lightweight. It's lightweight, but it's not overly lightweight. You can do everything you need to on it. I think making it bigger and lighter, it's okay, but you know, for me that's not a huge swinging factor. Sorry this has dragged on a bit, but obviously I wanted to give you guys as far a review as I could. So yeah, I mean, as I said, I spent 20 to 30 minutes today talking to the staff, playing around with the iPhone 5, trying to get as good a feel for it as I could for you guys. In an ideal world, I would have had the model here with me. I tried to do my review whilst I was in there, but they asked me to leave. I pulled out the iPhone 5. I pulled out my iPhone 4. I started recording and talking, And I was like, excuse me, sir, what are you doing? So, oh, I'm just doing a review of your iPhone 5. He said, sorry, so you can't do it. But he was like, okay. So yeah, basically, unless I had have actually gone and brought the iPhone 5, I wouldn't have been able to do a proper review for you guys, and I'm sorry about that. But to be honest, this is the best I can do. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm sorry about the length, but obviously I wanted to give you guys a proper review of all the features that the iPhone 5 comes with, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.